So you remember a month ago when I made a video saying that the Atlanta Falcons are going to trade Julio Jones at some point after the NFL draft? Well, we thought that was just a pre-draft rumor, just to potentially drum up some hype. Maybe some team tries to pull off a draft day trade for Julio Jones, and that never ended up happening. So after the Atlanta Falcons selected Kyle Pitts with the number 4 overall pick, you would think that they are currently in win now mode, because if they weren't in win now mode, they could have easily selected their quarterback of the future in Justin Fields or Mac Jones, and that would essentially signal to Matt Ryan and Julio Jones that this is the end of their era. And that's not to say that they did something right or they did something wrong. It's just the course of action and the plans that the Atlanta Falcons made clearly indicate that they're still trying to win a Super Bowl during the Matt Ryan era. So what's going on, guys? Your boy Mike here. Guys, this is our second video of the past 3 hours, so do me a favor and sack that like button for the YouTube algorithm for me. The NFL has been absolutely destroying me by claiming my content, and I really don't care about making money on this content. Just sack that like button for the YouTube algorithm so you could push this video to a larger audience. In addition to that, I am doing yet another Apple AirPod Max giveaway on my Instagram page. All you have to do is be a follower on my Instagram, and once I get to 400,000 subscribers on Mikerophone, I'll announce a giveaway winner on my Instagram. Now that we get all that out of the way, break! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? The Atlanta Falcons were placed in a very unique situation over the past 2 to 3 years. Actually, ever since the Atlanta Falcons had that 28-3 meltdown in the Super Bowl, a team that is as good as them hasn't really been performing up to par. And when I say a team as good as them, their offense has always been clicking on all cylinders, but it was their defense that has really slowed them down. That, coupled with the fact that Julio Jones hasn't been super healthy lately, and you could understand why the Atlanta Falcons were the number 4 pick in this year's NFL draft. And with that number 4 pick, they decided to do something absolutely unprecedented. Despite this being a very QB heavy draft, the Atlanta Falcons opted not to trade down and potentially take some defensive help in the form of Patrick Surtain II, J.C. Horn, or even Micah Parsons. And maybe that's because there wasn't any interest in the number 4 overall pick, despite Bill Belichick reportedly being willing to trade up for Justin Fields if he slipped out of the top 3. But the Atlanta Falcons decided to draft Kyle Pitts with the number 4 overall pick, which is the highest draft pick that has ever been spent on a tight end in NFL history. Now, already first-round tight ends have a very shaky history of really panning out or not. There's been examples of them being absolute busts, like the last time the Falcons took a tight end in the first round in 2018, Hayden Hurst, David Njoku, Evan Ingram, OJ Howard, Eric Ebron. And although those aren't necessarily absolute busts, they didn't really live up to their billing as a first-round pick. As a matter of fact, the last time I could truly remember a first-round tight end truly fulfilling his potential was when a 6th overall pick was used on Vernon Davis. Now, of course, there have been exceptions. Some of those players even turned out to be fairly solid. Eric Ebron is a solid role player, although he's been more of a journeyman. OJ Howard has been dealing with injuries, while the Tampa Bay Buccaneers got Tom Brady this past year. And TJ Hawkinson and Noah Fant, who were 2 first-round tight ends in 2019, seem to be off to fairly solid starts to their careers. But the important thing here is this move signals that the Atlanta Falcons are interested in winning now. If they weren't interested in winning now, they could have selected a quarterback here and signaled the end of the Matt Ryan era. And I'm really happy they didn't, because Matt Ryan is a really good quarterback. In my opinion, Matt Ryan is in the top 7 of quarterbacks in the NFL. He hasn't shown me any reason to move on from him thus far. As a matter of fact, he's getting to that sweet spot at that age where he's been in the NFL for so long that he now can recognize defenses more easily, and as a result, he should have an easier time conducting successful drives. And a huge reason why Matt Ryan has been successful throughout his career is Julio Jones. Now, Julio Jones is a remarkable talent, but the problem is last year he hasn't been healthy, and the fact that Julio Jones is getting older, and he's at that point where if you trade him right now, the team that's receiving him may get 1 or 2 years of productivity out of him, yet you'll probably get a maximum return if you are to trade him now. So here's the reason why. Mainly, this has to do with the Atlanta Falcons' really tough salary cap situation. Julio Jones is set to draw a base salary of $15.3 million during the 2021 season and $11.5 million during the 2022 and 2023 season. So any team trading for him needs to be able to fit this amount of salary cap onto their books and minimize the salary cap gymnastics as much as you can. So an ideal fit for Julio Jones in this situation would be a team that has yet to pay their quarterback max money. So a team like the Baltimore Ravens come to mind. While they are working on a contract extension for Lamar Jackson, he is still on a rookie scale contract. A team like the New England Patriots, who are underpaying Cam Newton and just drafted Mac Jones, or a team like the San Francisco 49ers, who has Jimmy Garoppolo on a below market quarterback contract and also recently drafted a QB as well. And this situation's really interesting to me because I do think that this 49ers team resembles their 2012 team where they had Roddy White, Julio Jones, and Matt Ryan and Tony Gonzalez. Only this year they have Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, and Kyle Pitts and Matt Ryan. And that 2012 team went to the NFC Championship. So I disagree. I don't think the Atlanta Falcons are 100% in a rebuilding stage, but if their general manager feels that way, then I kind of understand it. So this report comes from The Athletic's Jeff Schultz, saying that the Atlanta Falcons would like to trade star wide receiver Julio Jones. And upon getting this information, guess who reacted to it? Derrick Henry. So check this out. Derrick Henry quotes this tweet saying, "Tighten the F up with 2 swords." Now, Julio Jones to the Tennessee Titans makes a lot of sense, and it would be pretty awesome because A.J. Brown has admitted that he's looked up to Julio Jones coming into the NFL. And so having a quarterback that is coming off of 2 strong seasons in Ryan Tannehill and having A.J. Brown next to Julio Jones, bear in mind that the Tennessee Titans just lost Corey Davis to the New York Jets. And then you combine that with the fact that they have a bruising halfback in Derrick Henry to control the ground game, and it also makes a lot of sense for the Tennessee Titans to potentially trade for him. And the final team that I could see making a move for Julio Jones would be the Green Bay Packers. Now, it's no secret, Aaron Rodgers has been so disgruntled with the Green Bay Packers over this past year. After they traded up for Jordan Love in last year's NFL draft in a wide receiver heavy NFL draft, and then this year they went defense with their first round pick once again, Aaron Rodgers has not been so happy with the amount of support the Packers have been giving him. And I feel like this is a great way to potentially appease Aaron Rodgers. And by acquiring Julio Jones, maybe, just maybe Aaron Rodgers would agree to a contract extension or will restructure his deal. This entire situation is extremely confusing because at the same time, the Atlanta Falcons are making moves that imply that, hey, we're in win now mode. Drafting Kyle Pitts is a win now move, but trading Julio Jones is a, hey, we're rebuilding move. So I'm really confused about what they're doing. Maybe they're just trying to see what his value is on the trade market. So I'd like to hear what you guys think about this situation in the comment section down below. And if you're the Atlanta Falcons, would you trade Julio Jones? Personally, I don't think I would. I feel like there is a good chance that the Atlanta Falcons with a brand new regime could potentially make a run in the NFL playoffs. But that's my take on the situation, guys. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Make sure you guys are followed on Instagram for a chance to win a pair of Apple AirPod Maxes and that you sack the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.